Hey everyone, and welcome to the Atomic Cinema Experiment. I am Peter, and joining me in the Sci-Fi Movie Podcast is Tara.
Greetings, citizens.
We talk about science fiction films on this here podcast, and on this episode we are going to be looking at a recent release from this year. It's Captive State, which came out in March, I think. It's on the home video formats now, or at least it's up for VOD, and we're going to talk about it. And it's a sci-fi movie, and that's what's going to happen. So yes, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. I don't know where I'm going with this intro. I feel like I've said all the important information, and yet I keep talking without drawing a breath. How long can I go before I have to draw a breath? I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going. Okay.
You don't have to prove anything.
I have to prove everything every time, every day, with everyone. Must prove it all. This is an intense episode. And we don't have a Mystery Science Theater section this week, and I know I promised one is coming back next week.
We are going to do Mitchell.
We're going to do Mitchell, but this week it's just Captive State all the time. So prepare for some tangents, prepare for whatever else we normally do on this show. It could be meaningful discussion about the themes of the film and the technical techniques that were used to achieve what was happening.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah.
Or it could just be, oh, that color was pretty. Oh, they look good. Or it varies.
Like, this reminded me of a different film. Let's talk about that for 15 minutes.
I'm getting the impression. Now, I don't want to get too cocky here because last week I really thought I knew what Tara was going to say about Alita, Battle Angel, and I was so sure of myself that she swerved me with, oh, I actually quite like this movie. But I'm getting the impression so far from
Alita was okay.
My co-host this evening that she did not in fact enjoy Captive State. Before she answers that question though, before you answer that question, I'll just remind you that we will start spoiler free. We'll give you a warning in the middle before we go into spoilers. I'm just getting the housekeeping out of the way, alright? Just so we do it. And before we get into one more piece of housekeeping, I want to promote this at the start, because one of the things that we want to do in this show actually is occasionally answer some questions from you guys, either at the end of the show, probably at the end of the show, maybe as an alternative to the Mystery Science Theater section, maybe in addition to if it's a shorter episode. So we can accept questions on Twitter at the Ace Podcast, which we've had for a while. So follow us on there. But we can also now accept them via email. We have an email address that is for questions for all the shows we do. So one of the things you have to do is make sure you put the title of the show, in this case, the Ace, in the subject bar, and make sure you sign your name to it. But what's the email address they can now send us questions, Tara?
It is MFTV questions. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Yes, spot on.
MFTV questions at gangstermail.com.
That's gmail.com for those of you who don't speak.
Gangsta?
Gangsta, yes. So yes, that's that's MFTV questions at gmail.com for everyone, or gangsta mail as Tara so eloquently puts it. So you can send us questions there. You can send us evergreen questions about sci-fi movies in general, or our taste in movies, or whatever. We always tell you what's coming next week on the show. Actually, that said, they do go up a week early for patrons, meaning that only patrons actually know what the next one's going to be. So maybe you can't actually ask a specific question for the show. But here's what we'll do, actually. If you want, actually, what you can do is after an episode goes out, you can ask us questions about the previous movie we did, and we'll answer any questions about the previous movie at the end of the next episode. So
that'd be fun.
That'll be how we handle that. If you want to ask specific questions about a movie that we talked about. So just wanted to make everyone clear of that at the start of the show before we get into all the meat of it. So, Captive State. Captive State is a film set 9 years after aliens have invaded and basically they're forced to surrender of the governments of the world. And we focus the story in Chicago, where the police force is run by what they keep referring to as the legislators. That's what they keep calling aliens.
The
and
lawgivers.
yeah, and John Goodman's like this detective who's kind of high up in the cop ranks, and he is looking for the resistance, essentially, the sort of the underground, essentially human terrorists that are trying to fight back, and we kind of follow a plot with them to try and, we'll just say, do something with with the aliens, and that's kind of what the movie's about. So we'll save any more plot for spoilers after the spoiler wall, as I used to put it on Screams After Midnight. I guess I'll bring that back. I don't know. I feel like anytime we talk about the wall now, we're talking about Trump and his stupid border wall. There was once upon a time it was just the innocent spoiler wall that didn't really mean anything bad, and now it's all these connotations. Thank you, you orange little bastard. You ruin everything. All right.
I didn't jump to that, but I see why.
So, Tara,
Yes, Peter.
did you enjoy Captive State?
This movie sucks. It sucks so much. No, I didn't enjoy this movie. Do you remember watching the trailer, like the first one?
I do, yeah, I remember.
I think I saw it at like I want to say like a Super Bowl commercial or something.
I think
I can't quite remember.
I think that was when we were still doing Trailer Talk as a separate show with Connor, and I think me and Connor talked about it, and it was an intriguing enough trailer from what it was. It was like a little teaser,
The trailer was so good. It was like it was like the speech that a guy is giving over in like an arena, like a football arena, or a stadium, and it's like, yeah, we have no crime, and we have no, I don't know, like poverty, and thanks to our great legislators, our leaders, and here they are, and they introduce these aliens, and I'm like, oh, what a cool idea. Like, it's going to be an allegory for like what humanity is willing to do and give up if it means peace on earth, And nope, this movie sucks. It's not that at all.
I mean, it feels like it should be about
That's
that.
like a trailer.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I don't know if I can bring the passion that you did to your. I think it's thoroughly mediocre. Virgin on bad.
This movie's bad.
Okay. It's. I mean, there's one scene towards the end I quite like.
Yeah, well, you'll have to convince me that it's
just one.
It's worth watching the movie for.
I didn't say that. I did not say that. Don't put that in my mouth.
I don't even know what scene it could be. Like, it just got worse as it went on.
It's not so much that the scene itself works. It's more that conceptually, I like the idea of the scene. If the rest of the movie actually was good and built up to it, I would have really liked that scene. But because it isn't, it's just kind of like, oh, this could be great, kind of idea, right? Look, I'm looking for positives, all right? Where was this hateful passion last week when I was ripping Alita to shreds? Where was the backup then?
I liked Alita. Alita had, like, nice characters that are likable and cool effects.
I'm glad you started with likable characters, because let's talk about the characters in this. Can you remember a single character's name from this movie?
No. John Goodman.
John Goodman. Vera Farmiga. Alan Ruck was in this movie.
The guy from Veep.
Who's the guy from Veep? I don't know who that is.
He plays the dad in all the Transformers movies.
Oh, Kevin Dunn. I know who that is, yeah.
Yeah,
Kevin Dunn.
He's great in Veep.
Is he? That's good to hear.
Show.
Madeline Brewer from Handmaid's Tale and Cam, she was in there in a small role.
Kid from Moonlight. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually didn't notice him in the movie, but apparently Kevin G. O'Connor from The Mummy's in this. Yeah, he's Benny,
Oh, yeah.
Looks like I get all the horses. Him from The Mummy. So he's in there, apparently. But I don't know what it looks like with the little mustache and like the fez on. So I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't catch him.
He's got all the like iconography for different religious symbols, and he keeps praying
Mm.
to all of them when he sees the mummy. Yeah.
Look at you trying to talk about the mummy. You're trying to divert us into mummy talk. I see what you're
That's what
doing.
we do.
You slime minx. I
Hey, you
see
want to
it.
talk about that for 15 minutes instead? I did the Mummy ride recently at Universal Studios.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I waited like almost an hour, and the ride was like 3 minutes. I forgot.
I didn't even respond to the question. Do you want to talk about that for 15 minutes? And Tara just immediately launched into an anecdote about the mummy ride.
It's way more interesting than anything in this movie. This movie sucks.
I love it. I love this so much. The fire.
I really hate this film.
Also, Ben Daniels is in this, who was on the Exorcist TV show. He was good in that. Just yeah, there's a lot of names. What I'm saying
Yeah, a lot of people who are good in other things.
Yes.
But for some reason in this movie, even John Goodman, is not very good, like in this movie.
And do you know the weird thing is that this director has one other movie that I have seen, and I actually really like.
Yeah, me too. I looked it up.
Yeah.
And I don't just like it. I love it.
Yeah, Rise of the Planet of the Apes is I mean, here's the thing. I thought that movie was fantastic when I saw it. The only reason why I'd maybe not call it fantastic now is that the next
It's
two,
because there are two better ones.
yeah, were even better. So now I kind of have to just have it at great. Okay, so Rise
It
is
was still
great.
great, like
Yeah.
when it came out, because nobody wanted a remake of a movie, because we got one with Tim Burton and it was garbage. So
Well, of course, Tim Burton made it. Well, of course, it was garbage. So, I mean, I'm sure I'll tell this story at some point, and I actually have done it because I've done those three movies with Connor in the past, and I'm sure we'll do them on this show at some point after doing all of the classic movies because we never did those in the past,
the classic ones are so good.
right? But my thing with Rise of the Planet of the Apes was always when I saw the trailer for it, like I was like, regardless of how good the quality may or may not have looked in the trailer, I don't remember the trailer being great. I remember it being kind of just okay, but
Yeah.
I remember
That's true.
feeling my gut reaction was like, who wants more Planet of the Apes? Who is this made for? I remember being so cynical and why does this exist? It looks like it's going to be really mediocre. What is this movie? What is the point of it? And I came out of that movie being like, they proved me wrong. They justified why this movie exists, and they justified that someone had a great idea. And then I saw Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and I said, you know what? That was better than the original film. Right at this point, they have surpassed. And I love the original, 1968 Planet of the Apes, but Dawn is a better movie. War, honestly, is a better movie.
I don't know, man. That original one really holds up.
No, it's great. I love that original movie. I think the trilogy, I think Rise, Dawn, and War, I think that is that trilogy is the best Apes thing of the franchise. That is the best part, is that trilogy.
Okay, but I do really like those original. Like even Beneath is pretty good. The one where, I think that's the one where they worship the bomb and stuff. I
Oh
think that's
yeah,
a really
the
good
big heads from Star Trek, yeah. The big head things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll do all those movies at some point on this show, so we'll save.
I think, I don't know, the original Planet of the Apes really holds up.
Oh, it's a great movie.
I wish if anyone hasn't seen it yet that they could see it without it being spoiled for them, but
No one
you have
can
to catch him young.
Yeah, like I actually think it'll get easier to see that movie without being spoiled as time goes on, because I feel like the generation that made all the jokes in TV shows that spoiled it for us, like kids, who are like 20 years younger than us, won't be watching those shows. They won't hear this reference over and over again. So I actually think in 20 years' time it may be easier for new people who are maybe teenagers to have avoided it somehow.
That's true.
That's my guess. I could be completely wrong though. Because maybe we'll be the pricks and we'll be like, ha ha ha, they were on Earth the whole time.
I guess we are.
Oh, come on. Who is listening to a sci-fi movie podcast who doesn't know the end of the Planet of the Apes?
Okay, but don't spoil Soylent Green.
Okay. Although that was spoiled for me before I saw it. I just wanted to say that before.
Not for me. Boom.
Oh,
'Cause I was
do you want a
Kid
medal?
glued in front of the TV, so I watched everything before the age of 5.
I never saw Silent Green until like 2 years ago, so I mean, I didn't have much of a chance to avoid it.
Wish we watched that one this week instead. Well, but hey, Rupert Wyatt, like, yeah, so he made Planet of the Apes, which is good. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which
Yes.
is a really good film.
This is
Great
Rupert
film.
Wyatt we're talking about. Rupert Wyatt, the director.
Right, the director. But he did not write it.
That's true.
He's not a credited writer. And in this movie, he wrote and directed. So, but
Well,
I really think the direction was the problem here. I mean, the writing sucked, yeah,
yeah,
but like the direction was not good.
he did co-write with Erica Beanie, just to
Yeah.
full disclosure. Just
He's not the
yeah,
only
yeah,
writer on here, but
yeah.
like,
And he can't spell America without Erica.
thanks.
You don't get that reference, but everyone who watched Stranger Things season 3 is rolling with laughter right now. Rolling with laughter.
It's true. I don't volunteer for Netflix unless it's like the Black Mirror. I'll watch Black Mirror.
Yeah. Well, you're allowed to get Sabrina now too. You opted into
Yeah,
that
I
one.
like Sabrina. That's true.
You opted into that one. Um, I wonder if I could talk you into doing Dark someday, even though we've already done it all, just so I've got an excuse to watch it again. I'll understand it even better this time. How long has it been since we talked about Captive State? It's been a while, I think. So, Captive State.
Yeah, I brought up the director.
You brought up the director, yeah. Right, so this is actually one of my least favorite styles of direction, actually, in this movie, is that everything is so disjointed and it's lots of little quick scenes. There's not a lot of time to really get to know any of the characters. There's not a lot of time to feel anything for any of the characters. Like, it was jumping around characters so much that I don't care. Honestly, and you're going to hate me for saying this because I know you like war movies, right? But what the problem with this movie for me is actually the reason why I don't like a lot of war movies is that it feels really impersonal.
I I wouldn't put this in a war film category.
Oh no, I'm not. I mean, I'm not saying it is actually a war movie, but I'm saying it shares that trait that I feel I have with a lot of war movies. Not all of them, obviously, but is this?
You're still thinking of Dunkirk. I know you're hurt. It's okay. He's making another movie, and it's gonna have some weird timeline thing in it, and all the Nolan fans are gonna be so excited and see it 500 times, and it's gonna be the greatest thing. They're all gonna be so sad when it's not winning Best Picture and he's not got Best Director again.
Do you promise it'll make up for Dunkirk?
Hey, Dunkirk is a great movie, and you're wrong to hate it.
I don't hate it, but it made me sad.
I know. Me too.
Is this the
It was
first?
a really sad war film.
No,
All those people died.
it made me sad because it was the first Nolan film that I didn't immediately want to rewatch. It upset me.
Yeah.
I felt
Just go back to your Dark Knight trilogy and cry yourself to sleep.
Oh, I do. I always break down in that. See Rises. People shit on that last 10 minutes of Rises. It breaks me every time. I'm like, yes, the legacy of
It
the
would have
Dark
been
Knight.
great if Anne Hathaway wasn't in it, but whatever. For some reason, he likes to use Anne Hathaway.
Tara has the Hathaway.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's a sickness.
Which might be the first time she legitimately ever made me laugh was when she said she has the Hathaway. Just for the
It's a
record.
real thing. It's a condition,
Uh
and it's contagious. So watch out.
huh. So, but it's very disjointed. It's cutting around characters a lot. I'm barely getting to know one character. He's already in like turmoil, and it's fine to start off with a character in turmoil because it's quite common to like start them in an action scene and then like slow down after the fact and get to know them. Then that's quite normal for the start of a movie. But this movie never slows
Don't we
down.
get him? Don't we get introduced to him? I guess we see him as a child, but then we get introduced with him like with Goodman like voyeuring him and while he's like having sex with his girlfriend.
Yes.
That's a weird way to introduce a character.
Yeah, he's got surveillance in his apartment. Yeah, it is odd. It is odd. But it never slows down, and you never really get to. And by the time like you feel like it maybe will slow down, it jumps to other characters that we've just been introduced to, and we follow them instead for a while.
You see, I found that when I was watching it, that we get introduced to a bunch of characters, and then we get introduced to a bunch more, and then we kind of leave those other characters behind for a long time. And it was like we were watching two different movies, like about two different groups of people. And I kind of was like, wait, I thought this movie was about that guy. Like, where is he?
And
And I
yeah,
was getting lost.
and here's the thing: at the end of the movie, and we're not in spoilers yet. I'm not going to say anything plot details here, but at the end of the movie, the final like 10 minutes really actually tries to pay off emotional attachment. It tries to be an emotional ending based on these characters, and this is what I was getting at earlier when I said that if the rest of the movie had actually properly built up to this, I might have actually really liked the ending. I actually think the ending conceptually is fine. The movie just doesn't actually earn it. It doesn't earn
Yeah.
me caring about the characters enough to actually pull it off. Does that make more sense now that I've explained it that way?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But I don't like it.
That's fine. I'm not saying I like. I'm saying that if
Even if it had emotional payoff, I'm like, I don't know.
oh dear. Yeah, it jumps around
It's
so
like
much.
a cheap ending to me.
Yeah, but I see, it's only cheap because it didn't earn it. I'm saying that conceptually, if the movie actually made me care about the two or three core main characters, like I'm a sucker for a certain thing, and I'll say what it is in spoilers because I can't say it here. And it was trying to do that thing, but unfortunately, it just wasn't working because I didn't care. I didn't care about any character in this movie, just like I didn't care about any character in Dunkirk.
I cared about the characters.
Of course.
We should just review that movie.
Of course. I will say about Dunkirk though. Of course, it's excellent looking the entire time. It's well directed because Christopher Nolan knows how to direct a movie. But
And a war movie full of great characters who make me cry.
I don't know. You know what? No, we're not doing it. We're not getting into Dunkirk. All right.
Just give in. Give in, Peter. This is now our war movie podcast.
I'll tell you what. April Fool's Day every year we'll do a war movie, right, instead of a sci-fi movie, just to appease your.
All you fans of the final countdown.
We'll appease your war movie desires once per year.
Yep.
As a joke. Either that or Christmas, because April might be our like sci-fi mega month or meltdown month. It'd be weird to start it with a war movie. It's sci-fi month. Oh, we're doing Pass of Glory first.
Oh yeah. This is a really good idea.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Pass of Glory for 15 minutes?
I've said too much. I shouldn't have said that. I've taken us down a path that we can't go. We can't walk back now. I'm trying to think what else I want to say spoiler free. I feel like I don't know if there's much else I could say.
Yeah, I think I really do enjoy most of these actors that I recognize from other projects, other films, and they really weren't good in this movie. There are plenty of scenes with just two people going back and forth, and it's like, wow, like this is confusing because I thought you guys were really good, but the delivery is flat or it's like over the top or. There's one like line reading that John Goodman does, I think around the end, where it was just like he was reading it for the first time, like off of a card.
That's actually another problem that we have, and I think part of the reason why there's so much back and forth with just two actors and why it's so stilted is because there's so much exposition they need to give in this movie to explain what the world is. And like we did the Terminator, a couple of episodes ago, right? And just think about how complicated that movie is, if to explain, right? Like there's a war, right? So an AI device becomes sentient, takes control of the world's nuclear weapons, wipes out almost all of humanity, then enslaves the human race, but a savior rises up named John Connor who teaches other humans how to fight and fight back. They ultimately win the war, but in a last-ditch effort by Skynet, the AI system, who's developed a time machine, sends a Terminator, which is a cybernetic organism with living tissue on the outside, back to 1984 to kill the mother of John Connor before he's even born. But the humans are aware of this, so they send Kyle Reese back, a protector, a defender, back to 1984 so that he can protect Sarah Connor from the unstoppable killing machine, even though in present day 1984 there's not the advanced weapons that he might need. Also, he ends up being the father of John Connor, creating a paradox. Think of how much I had to say there and how complicated that was when you just...
It was like you just melded into James Cameron and you were making the pitch to Orion. Wow.
Think about how much information was packed into what I just said, right? And then think about how naturally and non-confusing it is in that movie. At no point in the Terminator are you confused.
Never. No.
Right? you get, because at the start of the movie you get a little bit that just says there's a future war with machines, but the final battle takes place in the present, and then we see them arrive in present day, and we just, okay, we get that he's unstoppable, we get that he's weaker, and they're going to get to her, but then after we get some action, he starts to explain some more of it, and it's questioned by people who think it's ridiculous, and he has to kind of defend it. Like, there's all these things that dole it out in ways, because we talked about how the exposition is delivered when they're on the move, it's in the middle of an action scene when he first explains some of this stuff, all of these things. This movie, let's just talk about the way the world is, even though we all live in this world, even though we've all been here as it's all developed, beat by beat. It's been the last 9 years. There's not a new character that needs
Or it's just like secret coded messages all the time that we're just following. It's like, I don't want to listen to this.
Yeah,
or like, I don't care about this.
The opening title sequence has like computer messages from like someone in the Resistance. I think it's meant to.
I know. It's like, it's so bad.
And I thought
it's like, who's taping all this?
Well, I think we do find out at the end, but we can't say it for spoilers. But
okay, yeah, but like, why would they type all this stuff? Like, it's, I don't know.
There was a lot of it, yeah. Because I thought, okay, you give me a couple of screens of this, fine. But it went on for, there was like 10 messages that were all separate screens, like giving us all this exposition. And I thought, well, at least that's out the way. And then there's so many scenes of characters just like explaining things to each other, or even not even explaining each other, but just like really having to like hit home like the way the world works. And I love mythology and sci-fi movies. I love setting up what the rules are in the world and how things have changed and whatever. But
and I'll accept ridiculous things if it's gonna tell me something cool. But
like, there's a way to do a lot of it visually and through action instead of like just explaining things, and to do it in a way, because I think they actually do some of it through actions in this, but they do it in so many of these little short, quick scenes that you're being assaulted with information like so quickly early on in the film that it doesn't flow very well. Yeah. You're just, I don't know, and it's another thing that leads you to being disinterested. Like, so the character's not, the main character kind of is Gabriel Drummond, right? I had to check his name because I didn't remember that. We're kind of following him more than anyone else, right? After, because there's a scene at the start where we see that him and his little brother or big brother are kids, and their parents are trying to get out of the city when all this is first happening, right before humans like sort of surrender. And we see his parents get vaporized. The aliens have got these weapons that just vaporize.
Which, by the way, I actually thought was kind of cool.
Yes.
But then never happens again.
It happened
when it totally should be happening.
It does happen once again. It happens on the buses. One person gets vaporized on buses later on. No, I agree.
Some being pulled off the bus.
But I agree though that it doesn't, like, it feels like they should be easily taking humans out whenever they want to.
Yeah, it's not consistent.
Yeah, because I thought that was pretty cool too.
It's like Fan Four Stick when you first meet Doctor Doom, and he like blows people's brains up by pointing at them, and then he just doesn't do it with the Fantastic Four. Like, he's got this superpower. Why doesn't he use it? Just blow their brains up. Just do the thing where you point, and you win.
Do you know what I love about that is that is like the smallest complaint you could have mentioned about that film. That film has so much wrong with it. That is at the bottom of the list. But yes. But were you aware that in that Fantastic Four movie that all 4 members of the Fantastic Four aren't on screen together until the final fight? Ben and Susan have never met by that point. They've been in the room together, but they've never spoken to each other by the time they formed the Fantastic Four.
No, I only saw the movie once.
I actually saw it a second time because I recorded a commentary for it for Patreon. So you can hear a whole hour and 40 minutes of me tearing that movie apart on patreon.com/MailFistTV.
For $1.
For $5 actually, but yes.
For $5. For $1.
For $1, yes. Oh dear. Do you know the sad part is though? I feel like that movie's worse than this movie by far, but that movie is more interesting. Like, there's more to say about that movie than this movie.
Fan Four Stick, I think. Yeah, there's more than I'm passionate about in that film, because I'm like, why? I don't know. There's a lot in it that could be good. Like, I actually didn't mind the tone of it, but like, it just went in such a weird direction in like part two. It's so ridiculous. It's actually
Yeah.
kind of fun to watch.
I mean, it's technically a sci-fi movie. I mean,
We can do it, right?
yeah, we can't rule it out as an option. Maybe that'll be a
It's not
goal.
very good, but it's almost worth watching just so you can, just for the puzzle of it, like, how did this happen?
Maybe we'll make that a Patreon goal. We'll do an extended Fantastic Four review.
You want to do another commentary?
I feel like if we just talked with each other instead of doing a commentary, it'll actually end up being longer than the commentary track was.
Yeah, we do tend to tangent. We've done it like 15 times already, so.
Well, that's because you said you want to talk about everything but this movie. That was literally your opening.
This movie sucks.
That was your opening statement. I can imagine you on the stand. You know, you're getting sworn in. You're like, okay, you're under oath. I mean, you're an atheist, so I don't know what you're under oath to, but I mean, that's a question for another day. You're under oath, and they'll ask you about the case,
My
like,
own good character and conscience and integrity, thank you.
yeah, I don't know what you're
Or
gonna
like the original script of The Cage.
do. Which is the first episode of Star Trek for anyone who's unaware.
The hit television show.
Yeah, the
Star
original
Trek.
pilot. And then I've got a copy of 1001 Movies to See Before You Die. That's my Bible. I'll swear on that.
Oh, you know what it should be? It should be the original script typed by William Shatner for Star Trek 5. The, yeah.
What
Frontier.
was the name of the movie? Yeah, Final Frontier. Yeah, Star Trek fan
Because
over
that has God
here.
in it.
Oh dear! How could you forget the name of your favorite Star Trek movie?
Okay, I love that movie. I'm gonna do that one for Christmas.
For
Or my birthday.
Christmas. I've already reviewed Star Trek 5. Come on now.
That means we don't have to do them in order, since you've already reviewed them.
We just have to review Star Trek 5 for Christmas. That's your Christmas present.
Yes.
What do I get?
Oh. I'm the one that's important.
I'll trade you some reviews of a certain hit television show.
I don't want to watch Buffy.
Come on, damn it, women! You watch some Buffy, I'll watch some Final Frontier with you.
No, I want to review it for the Ace. We're not going to review Buffy.
We could do a sub show. Call it the Atomic Serum Experiment: colon in the Hellmouth.
Yeah. Colon, all right. Let's keep going. Speaking of, we should talk about the aliens.
We should, yeah, the spiky.
Are we in spoilers yet? Can we just go into spoilers?
What Tower wants, Tower gets. Fine. Full spoilers for Captive State from henceforth. Yes. Aliens are
Oh my God,
spiky.
the alien design. Well, it turns out they're wearing suits, right? Because you see them at first in the opening scene, which I was really surprised that we got to actually see what the alien looked like right away.
Mm.
After the parents are vaporized, you get a close-up shot, and it's like a humanoid figure, but taller and like bendy. And he's got what looks like fur, except the fur pops up, and it's like these 6-inch like porcupine spikes
Yeah.
just covering it.
It actually, for anyone who's played Resident Evil 4, it's like an even spikier version than the Iron Maiden version of the Regenerators. If anyone has played that game, that's what it reminded me of, but even spikier.
Yeah. They kind of move around like a liquor.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, very
Yeah.
erratic kind of movement. They even have kind of like a clicker kind of sound almost from Last of Us, kind of going for it. What we're
Yeah,
saying
a lot
is,
of video games.
yeah, it's a very derivative of a lot of different things that feels like it's came together
Yeah.
to
And
create this.
I was thinking because it turns out the porcupine thing is a suit that it wears, and it can't breathe in the atmosphere because we do see later on the face of the alien, which is a very unfortunate design.
It's an asshole. Let's just call it what it is.
It's a bubble.
It's an asshole.
It's like we love the designs of H.R. Giger, but what sexual organ did he not use? The butthole.
That's because H.R. Giger was not a fan of anal. Thank you very much. He was a classy gentleman who only liked to do penis and vagina. That was his favourites. He did penis and vagina over and over again, and that's all he did.
What if we make it a butthole? It's a butthole. Oh, it's so bad.
It legitimately reminded me of my cat's ass. I'm not going to lie. Every time the cat's in front of me and the tail's up, I'm like, yeah, that's what that alien looked like.
It was so bad.
I'm glad you enjoy yourself, Tara. This review's going well.
It's giving me my old man laugh. It was so bad.
So let me ask you this.
I don't know if it was like leftover from the suit it was wearing, but it was got like this sliminess around it.
Mm-hmm. It was slimy. It was a butthole, and I'm not going to lie.
It just like expands like a butt, like it opens up like a butthole.
Spent a lot of time looking at opening buttholes, have we? I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Cat. Damn it. Firefly was knocking over my speaker. I had to grab it. I'm not going to lie. Part of me really wanted Ben Foster to stick his finger in it.
See if it clenched up.
Yeah, see if it clenched. Because he just gets stabbed by some of the pricklies, but he rips off the thing's face, which turns out to be its mask, and that's when we see this butthole.
It's so dumb. Why didn't anybody stop them? They can't make her alien a butthole.
Because you remember how you were saying I sound like I was James Cameron pitching the Terminator to like Ryan or whoever. I feel like Rupert Wyatt went into the offices of who the hell made this? I don't even know who made this. Company correct? DreamWorks.
What?
DreamWorks, Amblin, Lighthouse, and Getaway. Okay. Whatever. So
that's a lot of studio names.
Rupert Wyatt went into DreamWorks and says, "No, you have to understand. The alien has to be the butthole because it represents the butthole of society, right?"
That's what our legislators are. They're all a bunch of assholes.
Yes, they're assholes.
Let's make them literal assholes with hair.
Butthole. And normally I cut out the stupid thing because I did a break there because obviously any long recordings we do we always it's good practice to split it in chunks, and normally when I count down 5, 4, 3 I'll say something stupid right before I say my first thing to make Tara either laugh or shake her head at me in a disapproving way. Normally I cut out the stupid thing I said, but I think
it's like 80% of the time me shaking my head.
Yes. Every so often I get a winner. Every so often I get one that I'm like, I'm proud of that one. Yes, I nailed it. I got a laugh. But I'm keeping that one in. That butthole chat could just stay. Like you were laughing. Like you were sitting there giggling.
Yeah. Because I still see its face. Anyway. You look like a fish.
I was trying to emulate asshole face. Apparently I was not achieving it.
Oh boy.
Some might say I've got a face of an asshole, but I mean that's they mean something different. That's fine.
This movie sucks, man.
Right, we have to actually talk about what the main gist of the plot is here. We'll get to the start and the end of it, I suppose, but I think I want to talk about just the main, because I'd say like an hour of the middle of the movie is about this like plan that the Resurgence or the Resistance have got, which is to try and blow up this like assistant mayor dude. Who is going to be speaking at their Unity Day celebration, which is in a big football stadium, and he's like, "Oh, your crime's the lowest ever, unemployment's the lowest ever." Yeah, this is
where we got that really awesome trailer.
Yeah, and it's this convoluted plan where they have to. First of all, they've all got trackers in them, like it's just a part of society. They have to like get this cut out, like on the hush hush, this like black market doctor. And they have to put in like other ones that are like clearance, like other people who are important and have clearance to get into the stadium who died, but the doctor's not reported them dead yet, so they've got like a little window where they can use it for espionage. And they've got this bomb that's inside like a gel, and it's like organic, so it doesn't set off sensors. So they've got like a little slab of this that one guy is going to like slap on the Congress or the mayor dude, and it's going to blow him up. But there's a lot of time spent on the build up to this plan happening, because there's like, you know, them shaving it is that they call in the 3 or 4 volunteers who are going to do it. They come in, get their heads like shaved. You know, one guy shaves his face. They get their implants put in. They're trained. They're given pills, so if they're going to get captured, they have to like kill themselves. And then there's the aftermath of the actual thing, where they're actually trying to leave and escape, and you know they get killed kind of one by one, and most of them into buses, is where most of them get grabbed. So we get this whole sequence where they're kind of sneaking in, and they in fact do slap the gel on the mayor dude, and he blows up, and chaos happens, and then they're on the run, and the aliens come and get them at the buses, assuming they didn't kill them already. It's in the middle of all this running away where we get the asshole face sequence. I love how much.
Such a bad design.
I love how much me just saying asshole face is making you giggle.
Oh. Oh boy. They had to show this to like investors and stuff, right? Like producers, and nobody said, wait, why does our alien look like a butthole? Oh wait, we've moved on from that topic. Okay.
No, I think what you've just done there is you've solidified that this is something we're going to reference for years. Every time we're talking about an alien or monster design, we're going to be like, yeah, it's not great, but it's no butthole face.
It's not a butthole, yeah.
And just think, by contrast though, the xenomorph from Alien is a giant penis. It's a penis head.
Is. Yeah.
That's what
and
it is.
Works. It's terrifying.
And then another little penis comes out the mouth. Like it's all penisy.
And it's designed on purpose that way.
And it looks great.
Yeah. And the alien literally rapes you and impregnates you.
Yeah, well, the facehugger does that. I would say the xenomorph itself like still penetrates you, so that the phallic imagery still goes with it. So, but serious business. Nothing of this fooling around, Tara. Come on, this is a serious podcast. We're not here to crack jokes about butthole faces. I want to know at the end of this show, at the end of this episode, how much of this has been you giggling in response to butthole face.
The self-control I had for the first however long we were talking about the mummy and stuff, to not just bring up the butthole alien.
It's the one talking point you really wanted to bring up in this movie.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh dear.
Oh, God.
So John Goodman is tracking down, and he's spying on what was the name of the character that I said was the main character? Gabriel. And his big brother's one of the guys that's in the mission to, you know, blow up the mayor dude. And they succeed, and the aliens are pissed, and all the cops are like, no, we're to track these people down, and this is like, you know, number one, and blah blah blah. And John Goodman earlier on in the film like met with Gabriel and said, you're working for me now, and blah blah blah. And right from the start of the movie, I says, I feel like the obvious twist in this movie is that John Goodman's secretly actually also part of the resistance the whole time. Like, that he's not actually wanting like them to win. He wants to actually take them down. And that is where it goes. But the reveal is that the plan the whole time, like the blowing up of the mayor wasn't the end game. That was just to then get like Goodman in a place where he would become the chief of police. He'd become the commissioner, I think was the exact rank.
Right. Become trusted.
Because Kevin Dunn
be able to go into the
alien
mothership
inhabited zone or whatever, yeah. And because Vera Farmiga, we meet her early on, she's got like a relationship with John Goodman, and she's a prostitute, but her demeanor with him seems different than to like a prostitute and a John. You know, no pun intended. A John. I don't even mean that. That was just funny. So It's like, okay, whatever. But we find out at the end when they come in and kill her, and we find out she's the one who was typing all the things at the start of the movie. She's got her secret little den in the back, and we find out that she became a prostitute in the brothel specifically to extort information out of people who had information, like the idea that she could sweet talk people in power into giving up intel, which is really dedication. That's dedication right there. And like, so it sets up that, and it sets up she had like a wire in the room to record everything. And as John Goodman's like giving all this evidence over, they play one of the tapes, and it's the commissioner who's there giving up information, and he's like, ousted with everyone that's been arrested. So John Goodman's now acting commissioner, and he, for the first ever time, is going to go in, because we see the other commissioner go in earlier. He has to put on a breathing mask. He has to be sprayed, decontaminated.
He has to get rid of the human smell.
Yeah, they like how we smell. So they spray him, and and as he's walking in, we see he's covered in the gel. Like his entire body is covered in the gel they set up earlier as an explosive, which it's fine. Like there's an emotional music playing. It's at this point where Gabriel's watching this old home video from before the invasion, and he finds out that John Goodman, who he knew was his dad's partner when they were cops, but we also see that Vera Farmiga was like their friend, and she presumably and John Goodman had a relationship after they met at this birthday party. And we see that Alan Ruck, who's the newspaper guy who puts the ads in the classifieds, which was like secret messaging for the resistance, we see that he was there and one of their friends as well. We see that this is a tight group, and that the whole time John Goodman, everything was orchestrated so he could get into the aliens' base, so that he could do an even bigger explosion, which would inspire. And this is the thing: the movie cuts to like white, and then goes to like credits, and the only thing we get to say that it actually worked is we see like on a map little like information things pop up saying, "Oh, humans mobilizing in New York. Oh, human resistance fighting back in San Francisco."
This movie had $25 million, and they couldn't show anything like.
You looked up the budget. I mean, that tells me how much you went into it. You were like, I need to know how much they spent in this piece of shit. I want to know.
Yeah, it was like 25 million. It only made like 8 million in theaters or whatever.
It bombed. Yeah, it bombed hard. But how much of that 25 million was funneled directly?
It had to do with the cast, right?
I don't know. I think it was funneled directly into the butthole.
Yeah. It's so dumb. Why would they go with a butthole design? Doesn't make any sense. They had to know it looked bad. It looked like a butthole. Yeah, what a mistake. Rupert Wyatt, you made Planet of the Apes. What's wrong with you?
The butthole was a mistake. Oh my god. Okay, so it's maybe this big emotional revelation that like they all knew each other, and secretly this was what it was building to the whole time. John Goodman wasn't a bad guy. He was building up to doing this. He's sacrificing himself just like everyone else did. And this is where, like, if the rest of the movie actually made me care about these characters and it built up to this at a reasonable pace, because as much as I think this was a really long 1 hour 40 because I didn't like the movie that much, or 1 hour 50 I think it was actually, like, I wished it was slower paced. Let me get to know these characters. Let me feel an atmosphere of like tension because everything has to be in secret. Let me feel all these things. Everything's so quick, and like I barely get to know anyone.
Those are the scenes I hated the most. Like all the espionage scenes where they're like passing on notes.
Oh sure, because it made up half the damn movie. Yeah,
it was so boring.
And I don't care about all this crap if I don't care about what the characters are actually trying to achieve. I don't care about it, so I don't care about the espionage antics are.
Why wasn't this movie what the trailer, the teaser trailer was teasing me? Like, I wanted it to be that. Like, we live in a time where it would be so perfect for this kind of science fiction allegory.
Do you know what? I actually think it's a mistake this is a movie. I think this is a 10-episode TV show. In order to do this properly and like set up all the characters and set up the overall mission, I could see this as a 10-episode show. A good 10-episode show. I honestly can.
Not if it's on Netflix.
Why?
Because they make garbage.
Oh, come on. Netflix make tons of great stuff.
They make okay stuff.
No, Stranger Things is fantastic. Dark is fantastic. Mindhunter's coming back next month. That's really good. Glow is really good. They make tons of great stuff. Dear White People's really good.
Glow is okay. I watched the first season.
I had a
It's
blast with
okay.
Glow. No, Glow's great. No. Shut your butthole.
It's okay. Stupid. It's so stupid.
This is working very well today. I wonder how on next week's episode, if I just randomly say butthole at some point, if the same effect will happen, I can just use it to shut you up whenever it need be.
I don't think so.
We'll be talking about whatever movie we're talking about next week. I think we're doing the Patreon vote winner next week. I think we're doing Mothra. Like, can I halfway through just like mention butthole just to set you off and just
No, but you could mention ovipositors. That'll make me giggle.
make you what? Mention what? Sorry.
Ovipositors.
Overpositors.
Yeah, it's the thing that I don't know. Isn't that a thing that that moths have to like get food? No.
You may be right. I don't know that.
Ovipositor?
I don't know that much about moths.
I get really smart when I put my glasses on, so I start using big words. Sometimes I can't catch up.
Yeah, I'm all intimidated now. It's all right. I've got a solution. Butthole.
Stupid. Such a stupid design.
It's working though. So yeah. It's funny. Like, I feel like I normally go through the movie in more detail, like sort of, general plot beat to plot beat. The problem with this movie is it's so much of it is all these quick cuts of people passing notes or passing like items or, like. It just, like, none of the individual scenes really stick out to you that much, except the ending and the actual explosion
There's
scene.
one scene in the middle where Gabriel's being chased by these hybrid, like, biological / machine bees with suction cups on them.
Yeah, but it's like suction cups, but the suction part's like flesh. It was like, I don't know, like...
It was something like they were looking. It was like they're going for like a Cronenberg style thing.
If the faces are buttholes, this was like if someone turned a butthole inside out and then just put it against glass. That's what it looked like, and it was like sort of squidging
yeah, it was
about.
more like it had a fleshy condom around it. And they were like, bleh. I don't know.
Bleh.
It was very strange. Bleh. Yeah.
Bleh. Butthole.
It's dumb.
I still not fail to make you laugh though. It's worked every time. I've done it like 10 times at this point, and it's still working.
I don't know if I don't know how much longer I could do that, but yeah.
Okay.
It's so bad.
All right. Okay. Let's be professional. Let's move on from the buttholes and talk and talk about whatever else is left. And I don't know if there is much else left because I feel like I say,
I brought up that scene because I think that leads to him being like trapped in a car with the butthole alien, and
yes.
the butthole alien doesn't blow him up instantly. Like for some reason, he's stopped by like a cloth barrier, like a blanket, prevents him from getting to Gabriel.
Yeah, he's got this collar thing that he puts on every so often to like stop being tracked. I think is what that does.
Yeah, like blocks it.
Yeah, it's an inhibitor.
Mm.
See, I can say smart words too.
You're right.
No, it's not all buttholes.
Well, you have glasses on too, so
that's true. I always have the glasses on though, so maybe I need to take them off for a little while, so my brain remembers to be dumb for a while, and then you'll notice the smartness when I put them back on. Or the intelligence is the word that most people would probably use, not smartness.
Well, you don't have your glasses on,
exactly.
So of course you would go with smartness.
Oh, indubitably, yes.
Indubitably. You haven't watched that movie.
What movie?
The fuck, what's it called? The 6 Days in Hell or something? 7 Days in Hell? 7 Days of Hell? Oh, I'm gonna look it up. It's an HBO movie. With the Rockstar guy, Reno 911 guy, and Kit Harington. It's so good, but that's what indubitably reminds me of.
I don't know.
Because Kit Harington is like notoriously dumb in the film, but he says indubitably because he knows it's a smart word that makes him sound smart because he's British.
I can't say I say indubitably a lot. I think it's your fault. You made me think of Data, and then I thought of Data being Sherlock.
7 Days in Hell, HBO movie. It's only 43 minutes.
43 minutes.
It is so funny. Yeah.
Okay.
Just watch it. It's so good.
Noted. 7 Days
Everybody
in Hell.
listening, watch it. Indubitably.
Yes. Indubitably. Butthole. Yes. So, is there anything else to talk about in the movie itself? I don't know if there is. Like,
Sucks.
I mean, why does it suck though? Let's just re-sum our thoughts here as to why it sucks, right? You don't get time to actually get to know any of the characters or really get a good understanding of what. I mean, you understand how the world is, but not to the extent where you really kind of want to see change in it because you don't care about any of the characters. There's so much exposition that feels really clunky. The pacing is really weird because it's all these quick little scenes and not a lot of, in-depth scenes where you really get to sink your teeth into what's going on. Those would be my main complaints.
Plus butthole aliens are so dumb. Are we rating it?
Yeah, we could rate Captive State. What are you rating it?
Yeah, this movie's garbage. It has a lot of other movies that could be made from this that would be good. Like really anything else. But the acting, for some reason, even though they have great actors and actresses, they're not good in this. And I have to put it all on the director here because I know he could make a good movie. I've seen it, but I don't know what the deal was with this one. And I'm confused by the alien design, the character choices, why we spent so much time just passing papers around, and I don't like this movie at all. It's got.
I did not get that from what you said before. What a swerve at the last minute.
Barely watchable, in my opinion. I got really bored at the end. The big reveal where everybody actually knew each other, I didn't care about. There were a couple good effects, I guess. You got to see fire at one point. That was kind of cool. I'm going to give it a 2.5.
You got to see fire at one point, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I don't think I can quite go as low as 2.5, and
it's barely a Mystery Science Theater movie. Barely above, I should say.
No, but here's the thing though. Like, I have given many a 1 and 2 in my time and 2.5s, and I know what those numbers mean to me. Thank you, Screams After Midnight, for all those wonderful films.
I finished the movie at like a 3 or a 3.5, and then after we talked about it, like, no, this movie's garbage.
I think I'm going to go with a 3 out of 10. Butthole, 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 a butthole. You make me butthole, and I want a butthole. No?
I'm over it.
You're over it? Okay. You're
Can't
over
break
it.
me.
All right. Okay, fine. Tara's not getting broken anymore. We're past it. We've gotten serious. No more silly nonsense on this show. No more silly butthole talk.
This is a serious podcast.
Yes. Despite the fact that the last hour might have said otherwise. This is a serious show about serious films with intellectual discussion. Thank you very much.
People who wear glasses because they are serious.
Yes. Indeed.
And not because they're trying to cover up a swollen eye.
Certainly not in my case. So yeah, that's Captive State. That is the movie. Yeah, I mean that might be the least we've talked about the movie in the review.
I don't know.
in one of these
We
episodes.
tangent all the time.
We do tangent a lot, but I feel like we do talk about the movies more than we did there. But I think it's because this movie is so thoroughly uninteresting, despite the fact that it's playing with so many ideas that should be interesting and could be
Really should
exciting.
be.
But that's what it is. So that is Captive State.
Do we have something better?
I think
Coming up next week?
I think it's Mothra. Let me just double check that and confirm it. But I think it is Mothra. It is indeed Mothra. We got Mothra next
Awesome.
week, and just to get you excited, the week after that is Terminator 2. So,
Oh, right.
we got original Mothra and then Terminator 2. Good things are coming. It's exciting, and you'll get all the action here on the Atomic Cinema Experiment,
Stick around.
where we value your buttholes. So,
Oh.
okay. No more butthole talk. I promise. I'm done. All right. That is kind of wrapping up the show, though. Which is actually a shorter episode given the last few. So apologies for that. We'll have more interesting
Is it
things.
really?
Yeah, this is like just over an hour.
Oh, that's not short.
We've had like several hour 90 to 100-minute episode recently. A couple of 2 hours.
Well, I mean, yeah, a Rocket Man. Deservedly so.
Now, that was a movie.
Masterpiece.
That was a movie with a lot of butthole jokes. I mean, it may not seemed at the time, but in hindsight,
Don't think so. It's a family film.
farting's a butthole joke. Don't you sit there and tell me that the act of farting is not butthole related, because it absolutely is.
It's because he ate all that like anchovy paste.
Yes. So yes, join us next time for the original Mothra, and
Ooh. Mothra. That's my best version of the song.
that was beautiful, Tara. Absolutely beautiful. Come back next time for what I promise will not feature any of Tara singing. So,
Oh, I can't promise that.
I sing often enough. You may as well get away with it. So yeah, you can let us know what you think of the movie in the comments and all that jazz. But of course, you can support the show. Where can people support the show, Tara?
You can check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MildfuzzTV. And you can donate $1 per month. That's it. And you'll get free stuff. Well, free dollars worth of stuff.
Give us $1 and you'll get free stuff. That's not how free stuff works. When I put on my glasses,
Well,
I'm smart.
What? I guess I don't understand how consumerism works. Maybe that's why I don't have any money. I keep getting all this free stuff from stores, but they just ask me for money. Anyway, yeah. So you can get cool things for $1, like these episodes a week early, and
Say
you get
what?
to have some bonus episodes. I'm struggling because my kitty cat's being so sweet.
Okay, you get a bonus episode of this show once per month, an exclusive bonus episode that you only get on Patreon. So that's $1 per month, and you get access to that. Plus early access to the regular episodes and access to other shows and bonus episodes for other things that we do on the network.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
See, I just need to screw up every week, and that way you can just take over and do the whole thing.
Yes. And as we said at the start of the show, we now have an email address for questions, which is, Tara?
Oh, it's Monster Frogger Telethon Victor questions at gangstermail.com.
That's mftvquestions@gmail.com.
Yeah, I had to speak in code.
We do want the audience to understand it, Tara. You do realize that.
It's going to be in the description. I mean, you can just leave a YouTube comment. I don't understand the difference.
Of what?
Why do we have an email when you can just ask questions in the YouTube comments?
Because it might be a long thing. They want to put some bits they don't want us to read on on air.
Oh, okay.
Also, what about all the audio listeners?
It's like the health class when it's like you're too embarrassed to ask a question and like be known, so you have the like anonymous box that you can ask the question in, like,
Sure, but I
and
guess
there's always like three people saying how many calories is semen.
I wouldn't imagine a lot, but I mean, I've not looked into it. Um, yes, but the real point I was going to make there is, what about the people who listen to the audio podcast and don't watch it on YouTube?
Why aren't you watching on YouTube? It's way more interesting.
Oh, okay, that's your answer. All right. So yeah, ask us questions. You can ask us questions about the movie we just did for next week, or ask us anything about sci-fi movies or taste in movies or whatever. And that's all fine. Just remember to put the ace in the subject line, and make sure you put your name at the bottom. If you don't want us to read your name, that's fair. Just let us know not to read your name. But we still want to know who it came from, just so we can keep track of who's sending us things.
Damn it.
For obvious reasons.
So
Yeah.
I can't submit a question.
You can laugh at that all you want, but Matt's already cracked that joke. I'm already on the ball with policing other mailed fuzzers from sending in their own questions. If I get any emails saying, "Oh, Tara, how do you look so pretty? Oh, how do you do it? Can you explain why you're so amazing?" Like, I'm going to raise. That's a red flag, right? It's a red flag.
Yeah. Okay.
If someone
I'm
sends,
never going to do that. So if you do get something like that, you can just let me know that, somebody submitted that. That's cool.
obviously, if anyone wants to send in emails like that about me, then by all means, I'll read them on air, of course.
And just so you know, they go directly to Peter. So if you want to send like pictures and stuff, I'm not going to get them.
Wait, are you trying to get me dick pics? Is that what's happening here? Well,
that's always a risk.
Yes, I'm the one who sees them. So if you're planning to send a dick pic, it'll be me who sees it. I'd rather not. But I mean,
it's the cost of fame.
Someone's going to do it now as a joke. Someone's going to send maybe not of their own dick, but someone's going to just get a picture of a dick online and send it to that email address as a joke, just because you said that.
Are you kidding? They're going to send buttholes. Of course they are. I mean, I'll send you a picture of like Richard Nixon. There's a dick pic.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell you're not much of a comic nerd, because the joke I always make is Dick Grayson, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay, yeah, so we have an email just for questions, so please do send in questions, and depending on how long the shows are running, we'll maybe pick a couple from time to time to address and discuss and so on and so on. So do that.
You're right. This is a very good thing, and I appreciate all listeners and viewers of Mild Fuzz and the Ace. All 6 of you. Thank you.
That was like so unsincere. I don't even.
I swear I'm sober. Like, I think I'm just tired.
Tired on butthole love.
Butthole love. Whoa.
I meant love of a good butthole, not love in the butthole.
Can we make that the title of this episode?
That is, obviously you can support us other ways by liking, subscribing, all that usual stuff. Rate the podcast on your podcast app, Apple Podcasts or whatever you're using. Helps us people find the show. And if this is your first ever episode, I promise we actually do have some serious discussion about the movies, most of the time. It's just every so often you have a
clenched up right now.
Oh, there's at least 5 jokes in my head that I'm holding back. So
anything else we want to plug?
Okay, it's official. Tara's funnier than Tim. I'm saying it. Tara just
Oh, no,
Tara
never.
just went ahead of Tim.
Oh, it's stupid. It's so dumb.
Oh, that was perfect.
This is this is so unusable. Let's just scrap this and do it over.
You want to talk about Captive State a second time?
None of this is usable.
All right. That has been the Atomic Cinema Experiment, the Ace, our sci-fi movie podcast. This has been episode, I want to say 17, maybe 18, something like that, something in that range. But thank you very much for the watching and the listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching sci-fi movies, and computer, add buttholes.
I'm not gonna say it.
You need to say it. Say your thing.
No.
Say your thing.
Cut.
No, not cut. We're still rolling. This is still the show, baby. Come on, let's do
You
it.
can edit it in if you want, but I'm not saying it.
I will take it from a previous episode just to make you look a fool.
So funny. We wearing different clothes.
I'm going to put back in me saying it just so that I can, because they'll hear us arguing, and then I'll say it again, and then I'll have you say it from something else.
Cut. Cut the show. It's over.
Keep watching sci-fi movies, and computer, add buttholes.
Yum yum.